Oh, savage. Savage power. Koenigsegg CCX with 800 horsepower. And when they first brought this car to the track, it didn't have really any downforce on it, no rear wing. Built for straight line speed. They've been going for I think the land speed record for a production car, which they got. So it was proper beast. From memory, I think it did have ABS, but no traction control, and it was extremely busy. So I think this time round I'm going to be on automatic with the paddle shift, which is a little bit cheating. I should be using the soup spoon gear stick, but I'm going to skip that today, give myself an easier ride, and just go for the lulls. All right, so back at Dunsfold in the Koenigsegg, and I'll try and behave myself this time. Wow, first corner is coming up quite a lot faster than it did in the Liana. Oh, loads of grip, and a lot of power, and really feeling those bumps now. So for me this is more fun because I can square the corner off with the throttle, unlike the Liana, which front wheel drive, there's not a lot you can do. What I do remember of the Koenigsegg is when you squirt the gas, you can get loose in pretty much all the gears, and having to brake twice as early as in the Suzuki. It's going so much faster. Nice, just balancing the throttle. These exit bumps at Hammerhead are way more tricky in a rear-wheel drive car. Let's go easy at the follow-through. We don't want to revisit the tyre wall that I reshaped. These powerful cars will get squirrely even in fourth gear at 100 miles an hour. Scrappy first lap, but the tyres are warm. The sim seems to think that that part of the airfield is made of mud, which it's not. It's actually usable tarmac, but there is a dip. Sound of the engine is amazing, just like the real thing. I have massively overshot my braking. I think I ran over a landing light. Now what's going on here in first? There we go. Oh, clutch. Love it. Clutch on the steering wheel. Right, let's try another start this time with the clutch. Oh, nearly lost it under braking. Just tuck it in, just creep onto that gas. It is amazingly realistic, and I'm working up a sweat in this car when I wasn't in the Suzuki, because there's just a lot more going on. And back on the day when I first got in this car. There's so much happening with the steering, and you're trying to change gear at the same time. One-handed controlling the oversteer. It's a lot better with paddle shift. There's a lot less happening. And still needs a bit of downforce and follow through. But I'm keeping it on the track this time, behaving. But yeah, it's just got so much power to downforce. It's insane. Hopefully Christian didn't see that bit. Let's try and get that going again. There we go. Now I'll be able to see the apex. The rig and the sim got very excited about that. It's amazing what it really picks up. It's funny, it's just a bit of grass and a bit of a lump in the track. Real life, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it was almost like a showstopper on the rig. Vicious down change. Oh dear. I think I owe them a new engine on that one. Well, I don't think that my eyes shake this much in the real thing. So possibly it might just take some of the movement out of the chair, especially for the high downforce stuff. When we get into single seat, I think that there's too much movement. I think it's brilliant. Things like the Suzuki, which you'd expect to roll around quite a bit, actually the bumps you're hitting, when you're hitting them at speed with something like a Koenigsegg or single-seater, but that's the great thing with this. You can tune these rigs depending on your preference. I think Verstappen drives with no motion, and I can understand that because basically, really the main inputs are coming through the steering wheel and pedal with the feedback, and that's the part that your brain can process because it's the stuff that the sim is usually processing the fastest, and the motion, as good as it is, just cannot quite keep up with the frequency of the bumps. But I have to have a word. I think the software that's powering this, which is Assetto Corsa, which is really good, but the Koenigsegg isn't quite as I remember it. The gear ratios are different, so I keep finding that I'm in the wrong gears really for the corners. Definitely wasn't in second through here before, now I am. And it's funny how it's not really responding in the lower gears, punching out on throttle. You don't feel the 800 horsepower in the short gears, but you do when you get up to like third and fourth, and it's kind of the opposite in real life. So you would really feel that power in second gears. You're coming out low speed, you're going to break traction quite quickly, as opposed to later in third when the car's really settled down, which is a lot of that's down to tyre model. So still, despite that, I am sweating and I'm concentrating and having a great time. And the sound of this beast and the fact that it's pretty wayward is how I remember it. It's just a complete animal. I loved this car. It was the most memorable lap of my time at Top Gear because it was all hands on deck, piloting it around. And actually, after a few laps, I really bonded with it. And when Koenigsegg came back for their second run with wing, managed to get it to the top of the leaderboard, which was really awesome because I really like Christian, and his team had worked so incredibly hard to perfect their early model, and now Koenigsegg has just gone from stride to stride. So I met them back in 2005, and now they're making hybrids and doing all of this really amazing technology and have become a huge name in the hypercar world. So perhaps if Christian doesn't watch this video, he might let me back out in one of his cars. It's brilliant going back in a time warp and feeling Dunsfold again in a CCX and hanging on for dear life. It was my first time going back to Dunsfold in a sim. I had a great time in the Koenigsegg and the Liana, and I think it has demonstrated that I've got a few wrinkles in my driving style for sim racing, but it's amazing. And to be in this rig with the full motion, absolutely fantastic. And to feel the texture of the track, reminisce of old times, is pretty awesome. I think if I'm serious about going into iRacing, the one thing I need to invest most of all is time in the seat, because I think that's where the inconsistency, my lap times, is going to be improved, and just getting used to what these systems are about. There's still more to be done to bring sim racing closer to real life, but I think that it's definitely on the right journey, and it's not surprising now that there are so many drivers coming out of sim racing into the real thing, because this is where you can really tune yourself mentally and physically. So I'll see you at the next one. I'll be here for a few more days, getting better. It can't get a lot worse.